The next presenter, Jaan Priisalu. I think most of you know Jaan very well, but those few ones who don't, let me just give a very, very brief introduction and say that how safe we feel here in Estonia, security-wise, is very much thanks to work what Jaan has been done in past 20 years. And we are very happy to have him here talk about real battle with very hard enemy time. So please.
Thank you, Davi. And it's my pleasure to see so many familiar faces. And I wanted actually to speak in Estonia, but it's not possible, unfortunately. But okay. Let's start actually from these criminals, and the topic actually that was given to me was what we can learn from the criminals. And I thought all these stories, and there are definitely a lot of lessons. And why I did put actually this time as a theme is the fact that people actually usually do not understand what the time is. And that there are actually different time models. Like in the university, my professor actually teach me that if you are doing the real-time systems, you are using at least 4 different models of the time. When we were doing the digital signature law in Estonia, then we spent 2 years explaining to lawyers that relative time really exists. That this is actually not some kind of invention of the Einstein actually only, and it's not relevant that they can actually work in the Newton time, but not really actually in the interactions, the relative time does exist, and it is relevant in this context. But also, when we are looking at the criminals, then sometimes we hear and we also admire some attacks actually, how well technically those things are made. And I thought actually what is the reason why these things happens, why these technical skills are actually rising so high. And then I discovered that it's like they in the market, but a little bit more severe. So when you are failing in the market, then you are going to the bankruptcy. When you are failing as a criminal, then you are going to jail. This quality is ensured by the natural selection. I also thought actually, why people actually are going to do the crime, and then some stories actually came up, and I always came to the conclusion that it is actually the problem of the self-confidence, yeah, right. The story went that for one actually criminal we made actually the business plan. He wasn't actually still involved in the criminal or in the organized crime, and I started to explain to him actually that it's not actually made the plan how much he should earn, and what are the risks, and then calculated all things together and said to him that actually that doing the normal job you are earning more. And the guy answered that yeah, but I'm not fitted for the normal job. I said, why? He said that I cannot code, I cannot actually program, I'm not able to program. I said that we actually just got from your hard disk 30 megabytes of the source code of the viruses, and you are saying that you cannot code. Doesn't add up. Okay, but try something else actually, that you actually did put up the criminal gang of the 300 people, and you managed it really well actually, you're a good project leader. And then he started to invent that he is actually speaking the Russian, and whether those English and Estonian speaking people actually are taking him seriously, and whether he can manage. And then I showed him the business model and actually asked what he thinks about that, and then he said that yeah, your business model is too optimistic. I'm dealing with the criminals. They are stealing from me too. Okay. The end was sad, actually. This guy was actually involved with other criminals and finally went to the jail. So, so actually, no, dealing with this self-picture of the people and self-image is really hard, actually. You do not actually always succeed with it. But okay, let's go, actually. And this leads us to the first thing that I wanted to speak is that if we are taking some kind of conflict and going to the conflict, the most important thing there is actually knowing yourself and knowing your enemy. And I would argue that if you are defending, then knowing yourself is more important. So if you are starting to defend something, then please actually find out actually who you are, what you have, what are your strengths and weaknesses. And basically, if you're doing some security audit, then start from the inventory. I have seen this so many times that people are talking about the cybersecurity and they don't have the inventory. So please do it. It's for your own benefit. But why I did put it up, actually, this knowledge that actually this mindset and knowledge is the sharpest weapon. This sentence is 2,500 years old. It was created in China, and the experience was of creating it or learning this sentence was really harsh. Before the Chinese actually created their empire that made the peace on earth for them, they had actually 400 years of war in the row. So this sentence actually has very grave, actually, price. But let's come to the modern times and see also what are these kind of things that can be learned from that. This is actually the picture from the nuclear grabber. Most of people in the world know this thing, actually, that was coming out of this project as the Russian business network. And yeah, why I'm talking about those things is actually that the other thing that I'm admiring in the criminals is opportunism. That they are actually able to grab all the opportunities. If we're seeing actually what we're doing in the business, then also one thing that we should do is actually understand where the opportunities are and take them. But what this thing did, actually, it provided a platform for actually building the project of the attacking different kind of targets. And RBN itself was the thing where beside just actually providing this malware, they also had the other services around, so the whole actually criminal ecosystem just for hire. And the other side of it, what they did, actually, they collected the HTTPS request, HTTPS post request. So apparently this kind of this rationale behind it is that if somebody is actually using the post that is usually not logged for security reasons and is encrypting the connection, this information must be valuable. So I would actually compare it to the cloud services that we have right now, where you have also grab all the services that you need actually to do your project. You can grab these things in the web, and somebody else is doing something else also behind the scenes actually with your data. No, the same thing is happening now with the cloud also. Now, if you are putting your data into the Google Docs or somewhere, actually, some people are reading it and then making their benefit out of that. In this case, this infrastructure was made, most probably for the purpose of the intelligence. So intelligence guys actually used the crime as this kind of cover for the intelligence operation. So business and crime are actually similar, or you can actually see the similar architecture patterns. Next, this kind of architecture pattern or organization pattern, what I wanted to talk was CarderPlanet case, also very old case. Why this CarderPlanet is important? To my understanding, it was actually the project that created the Russian-speaking cybercrime industry. And if we're reading the RAND Corporation report this year, then still actually Russian language is there nominated as a lingua franca. So you have those kind of local languages, local forums where people are talking in Spanish or Arabic or Chinese or Vietnamese. So all those local forums do exist, and thing actually where the lingua franca, where the trade happens between those communities, is actually Russian. I didn't actually mention on this previous slide that this, beside the RBN, the other very well-known thing from this nuclear grabber is Zeus. But okay, sorry for that. On this CarderPlanet, what was the big innovation, or how the story actually began? It was in the Odessa 2001, where some guys met, and they actually started to do the forum, Carder Flow forum, where people actually would trade the information and information and services. So there have been the forums before also, so what's so special about it? What they invented there was feedback. So basically same thing actually, on what worked the eBay, on what works the Facebook. So basically they created actually kind of Facebook or eBay of the criminals. And this thing was successful, so it was ended by the Secret Service operation that was called Firewall. There was 26 guys were put into the jail. It had the structure of this power structure had the structure of the tree or hierarchy, and when they did actually cut the top off, then it went to the network structure, and it stayed there. So. And why I'm calling it industry, because usually the networks, the relation networks where people are selling the goods and services, those things are actually called the industries. After that was also the copycat. After this thing was actually closed down, then there were the copycats. Spar Factory was one copycat. What actually we found from there was some cases. That one case was called actually Slim Display. The story went that in Estonia is the flat TV factory, and then this factory, then they were contacting people in different means, sending them the email. Basically, it was the targeted phishing. And when you actually open this email, then when you had the money, then the money was actually stolen from you. When you didn't have the money, then you were made actually the money mule for laundering the money. And one actual innovation, again, what they did there was this call center, outsourcing the call center. What they did in Lasnamäe, they had actually the people or ladies actually who were answering to those erotic lines. And so basically they outsource to the same network, actually they're answering also of this slim display case calls. The other this kind of innovation what we saw from there was dropper. So in this case actually we first time actually saw the dropper. Why the dropper was important? Dropper was not really actually small code that did just one thing. It infected the machine and took the next executable. So what you are getting with it is that you will verify that the hole does exist. You can execute, and you are not revealing the content of your plans actually too early. You must really execute this dropper to get the next stage. This criminal economy really developed, and by 2008 then I saw the study in the Hacker Room magazine, and they counted about 20 different rules there. The funniest rules was, for me actually the funniest rule was actually the debt collector. So if you had actually the problem there, then some guys actually were offering the services actually to collecting the debt. Also the other strange innovation was that on this market actually very usual thing that is done is renting the malware or renting the software. And then they really have the license agreements. You can read actually that what are the terms and conditions and how they are enforcing. If somebody really doesn't want to actually to comply with this license and making the severe breaches in this licensing contract, then this malware that was given to you is fed to the antivirus companies. I don't remember, but I think that in those times already it was actually virus total. So feeding this malware to the antivirus was also automated, that you can actually put it one place, everybody will receive it. And effectively, it means actually that they use this antivirus infrastructure actually to enforce their licenses. So again, very beautiful way actually to take the existing infrastructure and using it for your own purpose. I think that those times still actually the most of the cyber criminals were not organized. This organization was actually just on the way. It wasn't actually still the mature market. But let's go to the political things. I will, the other things, what is happening in this world is that you all know the free software. There have been actually talks also what is the Anonymous group, and to me actually Anonymous is the free free trademark or free flag, free open source flag basically. So anybody can grab it and use for their own purpose. And so some actually guys are grabbing also those guys actually who did this op independence actually. The point there was actually to make the image that NATO is bad and actually attacking their own people and attacking Ukrainians. And what has changed from the previous times was the working hours. So attacks came from the 9 to 5. For some reason. And previously what we have seen was that attack started about in the Friday night, and the people were working by the night, and sometimes on the day also, but on the day usually it was some kind of mapping of the network or trying the things out and development, and actually this attack itself actually started about in the night. But this was quite clearly, and the guys actually didn't do anything in the weekend, so quite clearly actually professional guys. Whether they have been actually organized by the government structure or commercial structures, I don't know, but some kind of organization is there. And by today already, this organization have gone so far that 80% of the criminals, cyber criminals, are already organized. This is again, this Rand Corporation estimation. So most of the cyber criminals today are in some way organized into are part of some kind of organization. Then the next thing actually where the new flag was created, but no, this was quite clearly actually the false flag, and I would say that no, here was it was used as the part of the information war. If we're seeing those political campaigns, then usually part of those, either the terrorist or government or whatever is behind that, usually very big part of this activism, very big thing actually behind this activism is also the information operation. But let's come back from those criminals and those cases and see what is happening in the world on this cloud. What I say, that cloud-like of things we have seen on the criminal inventions before also. And let's come back to the Europe. Right now we are having actually this kind of discussion, or we have some conflict of interest, that Europe is talking about creating their own cloud. There are coming out some initiatives like Deutsche Router and Deutsche Cloud, and really actually Germans are actually building some national cloud, those kind of things. What I think about these ideas is that we should be better than we are today. We should actually start to innovate and understand actually what is happening there. Because now those kind of things, those plans what are moving out right now, that let's build European cloud or let's build the national cloud, what those things are doing is actually they're offering or competing with the Americans on the playground where the rules are defined by the Americans and where Americans have the advantage. To me, it seems actually quite actually silly idea to hope that to win actually this competition. And what we should do, I think, is actually to use encryption. The criminals actually have been using the encryption for a long time. Everybody from you actually have heard about the ransomware, where your data will be encrypted, and you are getting the key if you pay. You don't know actually whether it works, but no, sometimes it works. There have been people actually who have paid and it worked. Also, the encryption have been used in the command and control actually to hide it. What encryption does actually is, to me, in the cyber conflict, the encryption has the central role. And why? Is that, to my understanding, the cyber conflicts are about influencing the processes in the society. And battlefield there is complexity. Who understands the processes, who understands the data? And encryption is the purest form of using the complexity for your purposes. So you are leaving actually the data under the nose of your opponent, and you are hiding them behind the complexity. And of course, with this kind of tool, what we can see is that these Twitters and existing actually environments are used for the criminal purposes. What I think about it is that as we have these digital signatures and homomorphic encryption and stuff, what we should do is actually to build the virtual layer using the encryption and make the existing cloud platforms utilities. Use them all. Most of the value is in the data anyway, so we should actually go into the protecting the data and not talk so much about the infrastructure. What we don't actually need in the real world and what criminals need is steganography. There are steganography is actually hiding the information in the documents or pictures or other data. It might be usable just actually for the digital watermark, but I haven't come up with a really good actually of the use of the steganography in the normal civil world. But we can actually learn from here actually that how those criminals operating, that you should use actually existing platforms, take actually encryption, build your own actually channels, and simply use them. And on top of those things, what I think that where we should do is, again, actually going with encryption and data exchange further, and finally actually make this data exchange between the countries going on, using actually existing internet, build actually the data exchange layers actually on top of it, integrate the administration, and actually do this one common market that is written on the papers and that is written on the goals of the European Union. To do all those things, actually, we must be smart, we must learn the things, and feedback is important, but also actually, let's come back to this time, and that the reaction time, and we have to be smart, actually, we have to be quick, agile. And there is one case. This case is up because we know about it, and this was also one old case, WorldPay. There was actually it started actually in Atlanta, where some crazy guys made the change in the infrastructure. He installed the Wi-Fi router into the premises of this bank. And this guy actually who catch this unauthorized access point is not actually here. He didn't know what to do with, so he sold it actually to one guy of those. And they actually then they started to think what to do about it. So they took over actually the bank's payment system. They built up the organization where they had some 400 people in the 30 countries, and in one day actually they were able to take out almost $10 million. What was their mistake actually was actually doing this crime also in Estonia. Trick is that our market is so small that this taking the money out actually was showing in in the patterns. And this reaction was less than 24 hours. Now, what I have learned with dealing with the criminals that you must, and not just with the criminals in any kind of conflict actually, that you must actually get some kind of answer in 24 hours. It doesn't have to be exact. I don't remember anymore actually who said it. It was some DBA actually who said that if you are giving the first reaction, then this is not actually important how big this corrective action is. It is important that the sign is correct, that you're giving to the right, that you're correcting the thing to the right side. And in this case also the guys were caught actually red-handed. And that's why we know about this case so much. But point is, that if something happens, you must actually be quick. But it means also that those organizations with what you are answering, those people must know each other. It means that you have to have rehearsal before. What was strange was that with Americans we didn't actually have so good, we had some cooperation. But when actually this liaison officer sent those payments actually for checking to Americans, then the saying first answer was that you are seeing the ghosts. Then in the other bank actually, then we checked also with them and we got the pictures of the guys actually sent to Americans that here are the pictures of the ghost, can you please recheck? And then actually hell broke loose. But this time is actually quite universal thing actually. Then you must actually come up with some kind of answer in 24 hours. And sometimes it's possible even actually to go back. Like we knew actually in average we knew the phishing campaigns we knew actually 24 hours before. And that is the thing actually that is important also for the infrastructure builders. What we discovered was that the best intrusion detection system is actually the infrastructure itself. If you can actually collect all the events, analyze that, if you know actually yourself, if you know what is happening, then all the deviations that you are catching actually, then from those things, you can actually find out the developments. All those guys who are actually using your system for some purposes, they are doing the development. So it is possible actually to catch this development. So what I believe really is where the security market goes is that security retail market is nonsense. Security must be the part of the every process, every system actually that is built. It means that security solution can be actually bought as the part of the other systems and processes. There is no such thing as the retail market of the security. And coming back actually to the time and feedback is that when you want actually to be the good in security, then you must learn. And the most important there is actually that you are feeding back the correct information to correct places, that you are filtering, that you are not actually feeding back the noise, and you make this collective brain really work. The cyber conflict is a place actually, it is the conflict between the collective minds, and better working collective brain will win. Thank you.